Merry Christmas and happy holidays, everyone. It's Ann Hine, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today I have a little special thing for everyone. First, we might want to do our cookies and our mocha before we get started. Or if you're all full up from that, we can take a look over here. So thank you for joining me today and Merry Christmas. I'm just going to take a little bit of time today to thank everyone for watching our Janome pages and following our educators and our makers and our other people that post for us. And especially from me, thank you for joining me over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer page and sharing your projects, asking your questions, no matter if they're whatever you think of your question, always post it, even if you think we've seen it 100 times, 1,000 times, or whatever. We'll still answer it. At least we know the answer better now than we did in the beginning. So be sure to join us over there if you're using our Janome Artistic Digitizer software. And it is the page that starts with Janome Artistic Digitizer. That is our official page over there. And there's going to be something special over there at some point. During our video today, you'll find out about that. So as I said, thank you everyone, and I'm really looking forward to 2026. There's going to be some changes, but I think it's all for the good. So there we go. All right, I'm going to move my cookies a little bit out of the way so that I can show you guys something. I got all of you a present. Now, that's okay. You didn't have to get me a present, but I did get you all a present. So let me get the camera over there so you can see it. So here it is. Here's your little present. I'll open it for you so you can see it. And this is for everyone. You might make one and gift it or whatever. But here we are. I made a set of these freestanding lace earrings. There we go. And these have the little, I'm actually wearing a pair right now. They have the little stars at the bottom so they dangle. And I'm going to show you how to create these today. And the present is actually, you can get the JEF file and the draw file over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page. I will be making a post about it in a little bit, so you'll be able to find the JEF file and or the draw file. If you want to use the draw file and make some changes yourself, you can, or you can create them right on your own from our software. Now, if you don't have our software, join our page over there, and we'll help you find the design. You can just download the JEF file, and then you'll have it right there. All right, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be making some earrings. Let me show you a few things that you need. Now, with my earrings here, put this on this side, I think. The center part here, there's 2 layers there. So I use this silvery color first. And this is a glide thread, and it's one of my favorites. I don't know if I can see the color on here. This is called warm gray. So it's sort of silvery. And I did wind a bobbin because on the back side where these are, you can see the gray there. I use the gray for all the inside parts. And then this color went on top. This is somewhat of a bit of a metallic-y thing. And I just turned my machine down to 400 and it stitched these beautifully. So that was the first base, the inside part. And then on the outer part, I used this gold color here. And this is a glide thread as well. And it is called Cleopatra. And of course, I did wind a bobbin for this one as well, so that the outer edges, front and back, look good. Now, I've forgotten to do this a couple times before when I've made these, but that's why I always try to remind myself that you're going to have to stop and change your bobbin when you get to this outer part. Or if you want to make them all one color, you can make them all one color on there. I would not put this probably in my bobbin, this little metallic-y guy. I probably would not do that. I would find a color like that silver that would go with it, and that would be good. Now you might want to see, these are my little savers here. They're just golf tees, and they just fit in here like that. I have my things in a drawer, and they fit nicely in there. And then I do use some of these little stretchy terry cloth things here. Those little things you get in the summertime at the dollar store, and there's like 500 in a bag. So that holds there. And for my pieces that don't have my threads that don't have little parts at the bottom, I'll use the holders on here as well. All right, so let me get that out of the way, and let me show you just how I made this. Oh, one other thing I forgot, because I see them over here. You're going to need 2 sizes of jump rings, and you'll find those in your craft store. So you'll need the little bit larger size and this size. Plus, you'll need the earring holder up here. It's for a hanging one like this. It's not a post. So there you go. All right, and I find it really handy to have a pair of these. These are a little jewelry. They're crafting needle nose pliers. They're great for opening up this part in here. You stick it in here, and then if you just open your pliers a little bit, the little thing will open up, and then you can squeeze it closed with this as well. So that's what you're going to need. You're going to hoop some wash away stabilizer. Now I've used 2 layers of wash away stabilizer in my hoop, and I actually did them in the small hoop so that sometimes there's a lot of pull when you do freestanding lace or multiples in the hoop. I want to show you before we get too far along that I made lots of samples, and I am going to move these out of the way. So I tried different things, and I started out with these white ones. And where did I start? Yeah, somewhere over here. And these are kind of messy. And what I found is, as I went along, I really wanted to do away with there gets to be a little bit of a bump here. Let me see if I can find one with it has the big bump on it. Some of these have quite a large bump right there, and this pair might have it that you can see right here. There's where it joins right here. I changed the join on these. At first, I was doing a little stitched part. Let me get under here, and it's hard to see it. I was doing a little extra stitch thing in here, part of the design. But then I figured out how I could include that holder part with the star itself. So I combined them, and I'll show you how I did that. I did use, because we've all been talking about the 3D effect, mostly with foam, but you can do we do have a 3D underlay. And so I used the 3D one underlay. I tried the 2, and that's when I really got that big bulkiness in some of my stars, and that was just bothering me so much. I just did away with, like this one here. I didn't trim it up, but there's a big bump right there. So you have to do some testing to get to where you want with it. And that's what I was doing. I would sew one out. I had my small hoop, and I would do one, and then I would sew it and look at the underneath and say, oh, I got to make a change, and then I'd make another change. So you can easily make your changes. Let me just put that over there. And just to show you really quick, this is a good way to hold your earrings when you need a way to keep them up off your table. I just went and got one of my glasses and put it up on here. There we go. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way, put it over here, and let's get the camera on over here. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show you in the software how I did this. I used the Shapes tool. I did use a split outline. I used the 3D one underlay. I used net fill. Trying to think what else, combine. So I used several different things. So let me show you how I did that, and I'll get my software on. Here we go. All right, and I'm hoping everybody's having a very enjoyable holiday season. All right, here we go. And software, come on, where are you? Let's see if it's getting there. And that's really not what I wanted, but we'll go here to the browser. All right, so I'm going to pull in the the final one I did is right here. I'm going to bring this in so you can see how the layers of it. So there's a lower layer and a second layer. Then we have that finished outside part, and then I did 2 on each one so you could have it. So they're all over here like this. And I did stitch it out so it would stitch, well, I kept it like this. I didn't combine the colors. You can, so it'll stitch all the green, all the blue, and then all this color. So you only have to change your bobbin between the blue and the finishing on here. But just to show you what they look like, I like to keep them apart like this. It's much easier to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that one there, and I'm going to take one of these over to another page so I can show you what I did and show you my settings. Let's copy it. I'm going to go to New, and then I'm going to right-click, paste. I'm going to change to a smaller hoop using my machine icon at the top. There's my piece. Now, I always have the big hoop as my default, and I set that on the welcome page. So make sure you're doing that, center to hoop. There we go. All right, so we're going to put it here, and I'll just move it off to the side. So when we look at this, when I select auto, it goes to manual, and you can see all the parts. And I'm also going to ungroup it. Since I copied it, I have to ungroup. There we go. So when I click on the first base, you can see that's a net fill, and I use the cell size 0.08 inch. I didn't offset it, and I used the angle of 52. And then here, I used the angle of 104. I just added 52, and it made the angle the other way. So they overlap. And then here are the settings for the final part, and I'm going to show you how to connect all this. But it is a satin serial outline. Oh, the other thing is each of these, you do have to set your constraints to never, because we are layering items. When you put something on top of something else and you don't want it to disappear, like if I took away, let's see if I made this one auto, look what it does to the green one. So you want to make sure that you change those to make sure they all say never. And then when you get down here, I used an outline width of 0.08, and that might be 2.0 mm. But if you're using millimeters, just put in 0.08 IN, and it'll auto convert in the program for you. And then down here, this is the underlay, and I'm going to click over here. When you use satin serial, it comes up with one of the underlays up here. But down here in the window, we have a 1D up to a 5D. So how these work is, as it builds up to a 5, the first one, it goes around once, and then it does this little zigzag on the inside and gets all that done, and it may build up a layer, and then the final layer is there. So as you go along, these layers are very thick, so you might want to test them out on some things. And if you're sometimes you have to watch where your foot is, if it's raising up enough in between the different sections. But 1D worked out really, really well with my stars. So that's why I have 1D chosen there. So you can see here it shows 3D, okay? Well, I could do a random, that would be really weird. I'm gonna have to try a random on my star. All right, so let's go and make our own. I'm just gonna move over to this side of my hoop, and I'm using my mouse wheel, and I'm touching Control to move in, and then Shift will move it left and right with my mouse wheel. I like using a mouse. I'm gonna start over here in our Shapes tool. I am using version 2.0, but we do have the Shapes tool in the full versions, 1.7 and below, and the 2.0. If you're a junior owner, you don't have some of these tools, so it may be a little bit differently for you to work with them. So you might have to find a star shape to start with. All right, so here's our star shape down here. I'm just going to click on it. And when I do up here, it gives me the number of rays and the ray size and the start angle. So I know I want 5 for this, and I'm just going to put 5 in there. And then I'm going to left click and drag and bring out my star. There we go. And then if you want to change the angle, the ray size, it will make it fatter or skinnier. I think on mine, I think I just clicked in here and I went down just a little bit and see if we can see it move. I don't know. Let me get in. I'm going to zoom way in. I love Control mouse wheel. Let's see if it'll. There it goes. You can see how they came in a little bit, or you can keep them at 60. I'm going to put it back at, maybe I think I had 56 actually. There we go. All right. And then the next thing I did, you can see how I have little rounded ones here. I did a lot of stars like this, and I did not like how it built up on the edges. So I started making the curves here. And how you do that is my shapes tool is still on. So I'm going to come over here and click select to turn off my shapes tool. And let me see this size, because this is about the same. It is about the same size as that one. And it is the size of this one. It's 1.4 for the width, and the height is 1.3. So 1.47, 1.34 for your height, if you want to match what I did. And this is the large one. So to get that outer part, we're going to come back to that because we're going to build it from the inside out. Now, when you have your outline like this, and it didn't make an inside for me, if I clicked over here, usually I click down in here and it makes a fill. So if I went like that, it would take the outline away. And that's because, well, now when I click there, it gave it back. But if you, let me undo that. If you clicked here and your outline went away, and then I went here, it's just going to change the inner color, and it's not going to give me that outline. So let's go back and change it back to green. What happened is I am in manual. So if I go back to auto and I want to get that outline again, I can click up here on the pink and it gives me the outline. Okay, so I'm going to select the green part, and what I need to do now is go into auto and make it manual so I can see my layers, and they are down here. I'm going to move this guy out of up one. There we go. Here's my green, and I'm going to go right in here to fill in properties and click on step, and there is our net fill right there, and it fills it just like that. In my cell size, I kept my cell size to 0.8, but you're welcome to change anything you like. My angle, I started out the first one with 52, and it was just from me rolling and moving the little dot to seeing what I liked. I kind of liked that, so I went with that. I want to make sure I make my remove overlaps to never, because I don't want I want a layer and I don't want anything to go away. And while this is selected, I can come up here and I can copy and paste. And what I want to do is make another color of the second one. So I'm going to come to my bucket. It opens my color area, and I'm going to click on the swatches, and I'm going to pick another color. I think I'm going to go with an orangey color like this, just so we can see it. There's my nice orange. I just click here again, and I have a green and an orange. And I'm going to move and you can see here the orange is on top. I want to move it back one, or this one can come forward. There we go. And they're layered up, but you can't see the other one because it's behind it. I need to set the angle on this one. So since I had 52, I added 52 to 52 and I got 104. And because I figured that would be going in the other direction, and it does quite nicely here. You can see that it's making that nice lace look in there. You can do the inside different ways as well. For me, this is the quick, easy way. The harder part of this, I think, is doing this outline. And so I'm going to go to our star right here. And what I want to do is I want to do edit nodes. Now, if you're using some of the shapes and it won't give you any nodes, you'll have to, and we will do that with a circle, you'll have to right click and convert to curves and then go to edit nodes. But what I did is I went around on the outside and I clicked on each node and I put smooth node like that. I do want those handles. So I can right click on there, smooth node, right click smooth node, and right click smooth node. Now, I'm going to move this in so we can see. I have these nice handles here and over here. And what I did is I just pulled these in till I got it to the end roundness that I like. And if I like that, I kept it. And then I went over here and left clicked. You left click on the arrows and drag them. Left click, hold and drag. Okay, left click, hold and drag. You're going to click on that, left click, hold and drag it in. And you can move these ones here. I'll show you in a second. You move these in as well. There we go. And this one here. And let me double check that. Oh, that's working good. All right, so you have them all right. If you wanted to move the ones that ones here, and I got to do that one up there. You can move these as well, like this, or in like that, and make them. Maybe I want this one going across here. I want them more straight. I can do that as well. Kind of bring it down this way to make it more straight, or not. If you don't like what you did, just hit undo. And it'll go back in place. Up here, I got to left click again and bring these in. Now, I did not use the auto smooth, and I'll show you why I didn't. The auto smooth gives you no handles, so you can't adjust it. You just get these big round things on the outside. So that's all set. I'm going to just click here to turn the tool off. So now I have my nice outline. I don't have my underlay set yet. I do have my outline width, which is 0.08 IN, and I think that's 2.0 mm. Let me see, 2.0 mm. Oops, I gotta get this all the way done here. Hang on. There we go. If I click off of that, click back on, there it is. It's 0.08 is 2.0 mm. All right, and then, so if you're in metric, you can just put in the inch number I give you, followed by IN. Down here, under underlay, I'm gonna click underlay, and I'm gonna click on cross, and I'm gonna choose 3D1. There we go. You can try the others and see how you like them. You might like them. If you make bigger stars, you probably could go up to a higher 3D. So now I have all the 3D stuff that I need on that part. I'm going to go back to my outline, my shapes, and I'm going to do the ellipse, and I'm going to click on shift and get, well, hang on a second, let me get rid of that one. Let's see here, I think I want control. There we go. Oh, wait a minute, shift, there we go. Get my nice round one. All right, now that is way too big, but I'm okay with that for right now. I'm going to make this smaller just by dragging on here. And there we go. I'm going to make sure I make this, it is the width I want, but the underlay, I want to make sure I change the underlay now so I have that, everything correct. So this is going to go right up here on top of this, like that. And what I did is to make that more oval at the top. I don't know if you can see it's a little ovally. What I did is I had it selected and I went to edit nodes. And you can see here, it doesn't give me all the nodes. These are just the ones making a circle on here. So I have to go to my select, and then I can right click on here and convert to curves. Then over here, I can go back to edit nodes. Now I have all my nodes. So I took this node and I pulled it down like this. There we go. So they would overlap. I wanted a nice overlap. And then I'm going to get it all put together, and then I'm going to come back and adjust the top of this, because you can take this, you can either select it and bring it down like this to make it a little smaller, or bring it in a little wider, or work with the nodes. But I want these two to come together. So I'm going to show you how to do split outline. So we're going to do edit nodes. I'm going to right click on here, and there is split outline. I'm going to click on my star, and I'm going to put a node right here, like right about here. Whoops, wait a minute, I want this one. And I'm going to add a node, and then I'm going to come over here and right about the same spot and add a node. Or instead of adding a node, you see how I do the split outline? I could split outline. So I could come back here and get this and split outline. So you don't have, instead of adding a node, you can just do split outline. All right, and then on this one, I didn't do this, but I want to make sure. On this part here, I want to make sure the constraint is never. There we go. Okay, so it doesn't remove, and this should be never as well, my star. There we go. Okay. Now what I need to do is join the nodes from this one to the other one. So let's do this first. I'm going to bring my, I'm going to make this node come over here a little bit like that. Bring this one over here just a little bit like that for now. There we go, get them kind of even. And then I'm going to click on the lower ones. Where I did that split outline here, I could take this upper part away. But to do that, I would have to right click and then break apart. And then you see how that little part is right there. I'm going to take that away. We don't really need it. And I'm going to take the nodes for down here, and I'm just going to bring them up a little bit more so they're up here like this. All right, and then I'm going to click on the top part and see where those nodes are. There we go, they're pretty good right in there. I'm going to take both of these, select the top, select the bottom. I'm going to right click and do combine. So now they're all one, but they're not really connected. So let me show you the edit node. So now we have these two nodes and two nodes on this side. So I'm just going to select these two, right click, join nodes. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Select them both, click and left click, drag, and then join nodes down here. Oops, did I not get it? There we go. There they are. So now that they're joined, let me back up a little bit. I want to take this one and I'm going to bring it over here like that. And this one here is on top. So I'm going to drag it over here like so. And you can see it's making that little cross right there. And this one here, see it has a little wiggle in it, this kind of thing. I'm going to move this so it's less of a wiggle. There we go. And just bring this over a little bit more so they overlap slightly. There we go. And then if you need to fix any of these up here because it's come up, it's not as round as you like, go back to your edit nodes, click here, and you can pull this out a little bit or pull this one this way a little bit to make that more round. There we go. Okay. And if it's too big, you can always, squish it down or make it more oval like I do here. To make the bottom one, again, I just went over here to my circle shape. I made a little circle here, small one. There we go. And then I'm going to, I just want the outline. I don't need the fill. So I'm just going to click right above here and it just gives me my outline. I'm going to come back over here, satin serial. I'm going to do underlay, and I want my underlay to be 3D1 and my width to be 2.0 mm or 0.08 in. And then I'm going to do edit nodes. Well, first I have to do convert to curves, edit nodes, and then right here, I can just click on this node and say split outline and click on this node and split outline. And then come back up here. I may need to do break apart because they're not two separate pieces yet. Break apart. And then I can take the one that's up here, select it, delete it. Now I can take my little one and bring it right up there like that. There we go. I can adjust that however I like. If it's too big, too small, whatever I need to do, I can adjust it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just combine these two. So I want to select the outline first of the star, and then I'm going to do shift, and then I'm going to select the loop at the bottom. I'm going to right click, combine. There we go. And it combined the loop to the back. So it's all based on which you do first. So if I selected the loop first and then shift and then the outer part and did right click combine, it's going to put, and you can see it when I get close, it's going to put that loop on top. I don't want to see it on top. I want it on the bottom. So I'm going to undo that and undo again. It's, oops, and redo. Let me click off of that. So if you click the one you want on top first, and then shift and the one you want in the back as your second. Did it click? I don't know if it's selected. There it is. And then we're going to do combine. There we go. So now it's all combined together. So that's my top one. Now, before I combine, I want to show you something. Before we get that combined, move this out of the way first. Take and make a copy of this one without that loop, because you're going to need the bottom one without the loop. You don't need that. So I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to copy and paste, and then I'm just going to slide it out here for now. And then I'll put this back in here. Let's zoom in here. I'm going to put it back in and combine it. So I have my outer, shift, inner, right click, combine, and that one's ready to go. And I'll just move it up in my hoop. So that's my top one. And then for the little one over here, since I copied it, it's going to stay all together. I just need this loop up here because it's going to connect to that. I could leave them the same size, or I could make them smaller. Now, one thing I like to use is my percentage up here, and I'm going to click proportional so everything will change at once. And I'm going to, maybe I'm going to make it, let's say 60% smaller. So I'm going to put in 60, and there it is there. And then you can, that's going to connect up right there with a jump ring. So now I have two of them done. Let's take my two here that we made, and let's see here, and we'll go back to the other page. We'll copy it. We'll go back over here, and I'm going to paste it and move it over here so you can see. There you go. Now this is a little smaller here, so you can adjust that so it's a smaller hole. You really don't need this big of a space. So what you can do is either bring it up closer before you join it, or you can cut it, do split outline in a lower position so you have a smaller piece. It's all up to what you want to do on that. Okay. All right. And then of course, I'm going to take this one away because we don't need it. So if I was going to do this on my machine, you could bring in, if you have because these are individual designs, if you bring this one in and copy paste it in the machine itself, and then go to, what is that called? Join colors, and then consecutive color grouping is the 4 spools over 2. It will group the colors for you. If you wanted to group it so that all the green stitches first, all the blue is second, and all the pink is third, what you can do is come over here to your color box, right click on your green, do select by color, and then put your cursor over here, left click and drag, and these will all go up. You can take them all up to the top. The next one will be the blue. So you'll go to click off your green. You don't want to left click because you'll get this window here, okay? You want to right click on the blue and then left click, select by color, then bring all your blue up below your green. There we go. You could do this. Let me get that green. We have all 4. When I have these together like that, if I do a right click and group, it'll keep those together. So if let me get the green ones. I'm going to left click, shift, left click, then I'll right click over here. And what am I looking for? I am looking for group. There we go. So now when I select them, they're all together. The next part is our red. Now I have these as pink and these as red. If I want these all the pink ones to be red as well, I can, what I'll do is I'll right click on here, select by color, and then I could just click right here on this red and they'll all be red. And then select by color and I can bring them up. Well, they're at the end, so they would be down here. I like to have, and this is a big jump, this is a jump stitch in there. That's one reason why I like to just keep them separate, just in case something up here goes wrong. I don't have to worry about what's going down here. And let me get back to the camera. All right, so now you have a nice pair of earrings to make for the new year. I have my one set over here, and then I have my fringe tree on this side, which I'm kind of liking the different earring look lately. That's what I've been doing when I've been going out. One thing I want to remind you is make sure you start with a full bobbin, because you don't want to run out part way around. And if you do run out, you change your bobbin, just back up a few stitches and then restart. But you could have a little lump in that area, so you don't want to do that. My other tip is I like to, when I start it, every color, I will do, well, when I go to the first color, I'll move ahead one stitch on my screen. You can hit the +1, it'll go to the first stitch. I'll do needle down, needle up, pull up my bobbin thread. I keep all the bobbin threads on the top for the starts, and then I just let the knife cut them at the ends. And so it'll do all of that part. It'll start when it goes to the next one. It'll be in position. I just do needle down, needle up, and then I pull up my bobbin thread. It keeps the back a lot neater. On some of my samples, I didn't do that, so it's a bit messier. You have more to trim off. So when I pull up that bobbin thread, I let it stitch a little bit away. I stop my machine and then I trim. These are small designs, so I know we like to let our machine run and get our scissors in there, but don't do that with these little things, because you can have a disaster and then you won't be able to get any of your earrings done if your scissors and your machine come in contact with each other. All right, I'm going to let everybody go. I'm here just about a half hour. That's really good. So go enjoy your holiday day, your Christmas day. That's what I'm doing. I'm still kind of in my warm and fuzzy jammies. And I will see you again next week. Have a great time, everyone. Thank you again for joining me. Be sure to head over to the Janome Artistic Digitizer Facebook page, and the design will be waiting for you either in a post or in the files. You'll be able to find it, and it'll be Star Earrings is what I'm going to name it. All right, everyone. Bye for now. Have a great day.